Human Rights Watch has called on Lebanese authorities to immediately release Hannibal Gaddafi, son of former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, who has been unlawfully detained without trial since 2015 on unsubstantiated charges related to the 1978 disappearance of cleric Musa al-Sadr. During his nearly decade-long detention, Gaddafi has endured poor conditions, health deterioration, and severe restrictions on contact with his family and lawyers, reflecting Lebanon's wider problems of overcrowded prisons, political interference, and a weak judiciary. Human Rights Watch stressed that his detention violates both Lebanese and international law, urging authorities to release him, provide compensation, and ensure accountability for his arbitrary imprisonment. Human Rights Watch and 106 other organizations are urging the United Nations Human Rights Council to establish an independent investigative mechanism for Afghanistan to address grave crimes and decades of impunity. Under Taliban rule, now its fifth year, women and girls face systematic rights violations described as gender apartheid, alongside widespread repression and violent reprisal against dissent. The EU, as a council lead on Afghanistan, is being called on to champion this resolution, demonstrating principled leadership and supporting accountability similar to mechanisms created for Syria and Myanmar. Human Rights Watch and 20 other organizations have condemned the Maldives Media and Broadcasting Regulation Bill, warning that it poses a serious threat to press freedom and media independence. The bill would create a powerful government influence regulator with sweeping authority to suspend outlets, block websites, halt broadcasts, and impose heavy fines on journalists and media houses, undermining independence and encouraging censorship. The groups urged the government and parliament to withdraw the bill immediately and instead pursue genuine, transparent consultations with journalists and stakeholders to strengthen rather than to restrict press freedom in the Maldives. Human Rights Watch argues that the new UK-Mauritius Treaty over the Chagos Archipelago fails to deliver justice to the displaced Chagosian people, offering only symbolic regret and inadequate compensation. While the deal recognizes Mauritian sovereignty, it excludes resettlement on Diego Garcia, the largest island, and many Chagosian homeland, and provides just £40 million for Chagosians, less than 0.5% of the wider arrangement. HRW stresses that true accountability requires recognition of the Chagosians' right to return, reparations for their forced displacement, and guarantees of their participation in the rebuilding of their homeland. A UN survey of more than 8,000 children from 40 countries found overwhelming support for expanding the Convention on the Rights of the Child to guarantee free pre-primary and secondary education. Children described the unfairness of school fees and hidden costs that prevent many from accessing education, while also proposing solutions that frame free schooling as essential for equality, dignity, and democratic participation. In September, UN delegates, joined for the first time by child representatives, will consider drafting a new optional protocol that could make free, inclusive education a global right throughout childhood. Human Rights Watch reported that Indian authorities have expelled scores of Rohingya refugees to Bangladesh and Myanmar since May 2025, while arbitrarily detaining and mistreating hundreds more. Refugees described being beaten, robbed, and even forced in the sea to near Myanmar coast, highlighting the government's disregard for international law and the principle of non-refoulement. HRW urged India to end expulsions and intimidation, recognize Rohingya as refugees, and work with the UN to ensure their protection. Human Rights Watch condemned the harassment of its Associate Africa Director, Otieno Namwaya, after Kenya police conducted surveillance outside his home in late August 2025, following earlier attempts to gain access to him. Namwaya, who has long documented police abuses and excessive force during protests, is being targeted amid a broader crackdown on civil society, which has included abductions, disappearances, and intimidation of activists. HRW urged Kenya authorities to end the harassment, provide protection for Namwaya and his family, and ensure accountability for abuses by security forces. HRW urged the United States to stop transferring migrants to Guantanamo Bay, where Venezuelan detainees described being held in solitary confinement in filthy, inhuman conditions without access to family or legal information. Many reported hunger, illness, denial of medical care, and psychological distress, with some attempting suicide due to isolation and uncertainty. HRW said such treatment may amount to ill treatment under international law and called for due process protections and human conditions for all immigrants in U.S. custody.